Welcome back. Hello friends, I'm Anindya Goswami and my today's presentation topic is drying. This chapter you'll find in unit 3 of your syllabus, and in the drying there are the topics which are to be covered are the objectives, applications and mechanisms of drying process, measurements and applications of equilibrium moisture content, rate of drying curves, principle, construction, working, uses, merits and demerits of tray dryer, drum dryer, spray dryer, fluidized bed dryer, vacuum dryer and freeze dryers. So first and foremost, let us come to the process and the basic definition, that is what we mean by drying. Drying can be defined as the removal of small amount of water or other liquid from the material by the application of heat. Drying is the most commonest process or the most commonly used process in material handling, because we have to prepare the material, starting from the raw materials, and those raw materials should be absolutely moisture free, because moisture can be a reason of instability or many problems can occur if there are certain moisture particles in the crude product. So drying process is a routinely followed process, and drying means we have to remove the small amount of moisture. Even a very small amount of moisture can do the harm, so we have to remove that small amount of moisture. That moisture can be a liquid, that can be any liquid, that can be water or any other liquid, and what we get, the product, we get a dry product, and this we obtain by the application of heat. In an industry, the drying process can be obtained by many methods, like it can be a thermal methods, that is by vaporization, or it can be from any other by mechanical methods, by the application of filter press, or by any other different methods. But the choice of the method which is routinely done in an industry is the method which is we use by application of heat, or the thermal method. Thermal method is a bit costly one in compared to the filtration or the filter press method, but it is generally advised to save the cost. First we can apply mechanical method, followed by we can apply the thermal method. So therefore a combination of thermal method as well as mechanical method will make the process more and more economical. There is a basic difference and a basic similarity also between two processes, that is drying, and another process is evaporation. But they are not similar, but they tend to occur, the process sometimes looks as similar. Now in the drying process, what we get the product, we get a dry product, and in the drying process we remove only small amount of moisture. But in terms of when we talk about evaporation, in evaporation we remove huge amount of moisture, and the final product which we get, that is a concentrated slurry. So this is the basic difference between the drying process and the evaporation process, but the similarity is that both involves heat energy and both involves the vaporization process. So in somewhat the drying and the evaporation there is a marked difference, but also some similarities also in between the two processes. We'll study evaporation in a different chapter. Then we'll talk more about the evaporation process. Coming back to drying, what are the necessities or what are the needs of the drying process, or we can call it as applications of drying process, or why do we need to dry our drug products or our raw materials. Basic process or basic application includes for the drying is essential for the preparation of bulk drugs. Maximum bulk drugs, we need to prepare it, we need to ready it for market, but we need to do it in such a way that it does not contain any traces of moisture. Because for the preparation of, like for example, dried aluminum extracts, or maybe spray dried lactose, or maybe powdered extracts, all need to be moisture free. And to make it moisture free, we have to apply the process of drying. Next, drying process is an example for a long-term, it provides a long-term stability to the bulk material. That is the preservation of drug products from chemical decomposition and microbial growth. As we have already been aware, water bodies or water traces of, or even traces of water also can be a cause of decomposition or can be a cause of microbial growth. So we don't want to harm our product, we don't want to harm our raw materials, so we have to preserve our drug products by the help of this drying process. So this process is utilized for the preservation of drug products from chemical decomposition as well as from microbial growth, and this is the most important application of the process. Thirdly, after drying, the process characteristic of the particles, they improve. If we want to make get the particles in certain shape or make it free flowing, or we can deliver it as a uniform sized one, so we can design those components, but we can design those components only after the products or only after the particles are properly dried. So drying is essential for to improve the particle characteristics of the drug products. And next, that is to improve its handling process, to improve the material handling. Once the product is dried, it can be easily handled. It can be a very good option. We can make it good for transportation also, because there is a much reduction in the weight, because the moisture which is inside the product, it is getting evaporated, it is getting reduced. Now in terms of tons of product, we can load many tons of product because it is a lighter one, because all the moisture which has happened inside of that particular product, of the particular particle, it has been evaporated. So these are the basic applications of the drying process. So before moving on to the theories of drying, let us discuss some of the important definitions which will routinely have to undergo in this experiments. First and foremost is EMC, or the full form is equilibrium moisture content. What is this EMC? EMC is defined as the amount of water present in the solid which exerts a vapor pressure equal to the vapor pressure of the surrounding atmosphere. This EMC is one of the most important point as far as the drying experiments are concerned. The EMC of the solids is a constant for a given temperature and humidity of air, and under the conditions of saturation humidity, that is 100% relative humidity, the EMC is the minimum moisture content. Time to time, when we will move ahead with the theories of drying, we will go to understand more and more about the EMC. Next, we have the free moisture content, that is the amount of moisture that is easy to evaporate from the solid surfaces, because from the particles from which we have to delete the moisture, or we have to evaporate the moisture, the moisture can be at any spot. The moisture can be at the surfaces, the moisture can be in between the void spaces, or the moisture can be inside the capillaries or inside the side surfaces. So the free moisture content are those moisture that is quite easy to evaporate from the solid surfaces. So these two definitions are very important as far as the drying experiments are concerned, and all the theories of drying will include the EMC as well as the FMC. Now come to some other definition like percentage loss of drying. Generally, the model of experiment in which drying is being done, it is a simple model where we have to take the solid which contains moisture, and we have to expose the solid into a thermal process. It can be by thermal air, or it can be any other thermal contact, but we have to expose that solid into that thermal atmosphere, thermal or the heat atmosphere, hot atmosphere, and that sample is already containing some moisture. That moisture, that weight of the sample we have to notify before with the start of the experiment, and after the start of the experiment also we'll get the dry product, but in between the drying process is being going on at what pace it is going on, and what is the percentage loss on drying. So from time to time, within a certain period of time, we have to check what is the percentage of removal of moisture from the weight mass of the solid. So percentage loss of drying is being calculated as mass of water in sample in kgs divided by total mass of the weight sample into 100. Because it is a percentage, so it is into 100. So mass of water in the sample, the experimental sample, the test sample, it is containing some mass of liquid. So mass of water in that sample divided by the total mass of the wet sample into 100, that will give us the percentage loss on dry. Next, percentage moisture content. This is a very important component of the drying curve. How it is calculated? Let's see. Mass of water in sample divided by mass of dry sample into 100, and both these weights or mass are in kgs. So what is the weight of the water which is in the sample and divided by the mass of the dry sample into its percentage or into 100. And drying rate, this is very important because we have to maintain a constant drying rate in an industry that will be beneficial for us. We cannot dry the sample because industry utilizes a huge volume of sample, so we cannot just go on for the entire day of the drying process. We must validate it. So the drying rate can be calculated as the weight of the water in the sample in kgs divided by the time, how much the process is taking, how much time the process is taking in hours, divided by the weight of the dry solid.